Hi, I'm Mike, and today we begin the process of finishing steers and eventually sale of beef to our customers. Also, we take a look at the debate between grass-fed and grain-finished beef on our Wyoming Life. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to become a member of the herd. We post videos about ranching, farming, gardening, farmers market, ranch-style cooking, and a whole lot more. So just hit that subscribe button and tap the little bell to make sure that you don't miss a thing. I promised the kids that I'd show you guys the boots they got me for Christmas. A lot of you have asked about my boots, so I figured here's a good opportunity to do it. These new boots come from Erin's farm and ranch line. They're the only kind of boots I wear, and I've tried a lot of boots. Almost every year I get a new pair of boots, and now I only choose Erin. They fit me right, they last forever, and after wearing them all day, they're the only boots that I can take off and not leave my feet aching. Today, we have to get these brand new boots a little dirty as we start graining the steers, the grass-fed steers. But wait, cows can't be grass-fed and grain-fed. That doesn't make any sense. Marketing lately has us believing that there's a grass-fed beef and a grain-fed beef, and the difference between the two are astronomical. But is all the hype true? And what is the difference? Is one better than the other? I'll try to shed some light on the subject as we head out to move some cows around. Up until now, our larger, older steers have been hanging out with the younger steers, the calves, and the replacement heifers. Well, they've all been living together in one corral. But now it's time to separate the older steers so that we can start finishing them. To get beef from the pasture to your plate, cattle undergo a finishing process. And since World War I, calves have been sold and sent to feedlots to be finished to ideal slaughter size and weight. Here on the ranch, we keep a few steers back each year to do just that, but on a much smaller scale, ending up with a richer flavor beef and more tenderness associated with grain-finished beef. Now, you can't start talking about grain-finished beef without getting into the grass-fed or grain-finished debate. In reality, all cattle are grazed on pasture at some point in their lives and are grass-fed. Meat labeled as grass-fed beef means that it's only eaten grass or hay from the time it was weaned from its mom. Grass-fed beef is usually more expensive because it's done on a smaller scale. And there have been a lot of debate over the last few years which type of beef, grass-fed or grain-fed, is more nutritious. Grass-fed beef has more omega-3 fatty acids, while grain-fed beef has more oleic acid. Oleic? Is that how you pronounce that? I'm not exactly sure. With less saturated trans fats, but both types of fats are actually considered good fats. And a study from Texas A&M found that the impact of eating both kinds of meat on cholesterol is about the same if the fat content of the meat is similar. Many sources have also noted that grass-fed beef contains more A&E, vitamins A and E, than grain-fed beef, but in reality, neither provides enough of this vitamin to really make a difference in your diet. You'd be better off to eat a carrot. The final component that's been discussed is antioxidants and beta-carotene, which grass-fed beef has been shown to be higher in these components, but again, not enough. You'd get more of these antioxidants and beta-carotenes from eating carrots or greens or a few blueberries, much to Erin's delight and stimulating her sales from farmers market. So all beef provides a nutrient-rich protein, providing your body with a critical resource. Research suggests that higher protein intakes may be good for your health. They can help with weight management, preventing osteoporosis, and reducing your risk for cardiovascular disease. The big difference between grass-fed beef is based on your taste or the price. And that's it. No matter what meat you eat, you will be confident that your food is safe, nutritious, and a healthful choice for your family. Now, I know that there are people that are going to ask, why don't we just grass feed our beef? It's a lot easier. You don't have to feed them grain every day and track their intake, and you can charge more money for it. Well, here on the ranch, we take pride in giving our customers the best product that we can produce. And grain finishing provides the flavor and marbling that produces a higher quality of meat. It's as simple as that. Marbling is intermuscular fat, and as meat cooks, fat melts, making that cut of meat more tender and moist, and it also infuses it with flavor. As you can imagine, it's difficult to get fat eating grass, which is why you've probably never seen grass-fed beef that was graded prime, despite the fact that grass-fed beef is more expensive. Feeding our steers grain produces the exact kind of beef that we want to sell, and the process starts right over here in the corrals. We have 7 steers in this corral. Each one weighs between 800 and 900 pounds. And up until now, they've been given hay to eat daily, along with a taste of grain every few days. Beginning today, their diet will be stepped up, and after they're separated, they will begin getting an increasing amount of grain per day, starting out at just a few pounds. And over the next 60 days, that ration will be increased slowly until they're enjoying almost 30 pounds of grain each day per cow. All this grain will cause them to gain weight and produce that marbling that we talked about earlier. Sorting them off is easy enough though, hopefully. We just need to keep them in one corral while we move the rest of the calves into another corral. Slow and steady wins the race, as we practice low-stress cattle handling techniques and let the cows take the lead, moving themselves to an environment that they feel more comfortable in. Years ago, when we first came to the ranch, it might have taken me an hour to get these cows sorted off. But the more you work with cattle, the more you become in sync with them. You get used to the way they move and their body language. And when dealing with animals that weigh 4 times more than me, I'm gonna let them make the rules. No rush and no pressure. Eventually we get them sorted off and moved into their new corral, where they have hay and water waiting for them, along with their first taste of extravagance in their new life: corn, oats, and barley, a combination we call COB. Finishing our own beef allows us to know exactly what goes into each steer. We use no antibiotics, no growth hormones. They receive all natural food and are raised with enough room to move around and be comfortable. They have shelter from the weather. They always have clean, fresh water available to them. We respect our animals, because without them, there is no ranch. The grass-fed versus grain beef debate, I'm sure, will go on for years. Probably long after any of us have the teeth to chew through a steak anyway. But the truth is that some people prefer grass-fed and some people prefer grain-fed. For me, it all comes down to taste. I've tried both, and grain-fed beef provides the tenderness and flavor that I've grown to love. There's also something to be said about raising your own food, whether it's a carrot, an orange, or a steak. If you can't raise it yourself, do me a favor and visit your local farmer's market. Support those that do raise your food. Talk to a farmer or a rancher and learn exactly what goes into it. We can all look at a chicken McNugget and pretend we don't know what's in it because it tastes so good, but you can know what you're eating and get it from the grower's mouth. Not the food, that would be kind of weird, like a baby bird type of thing. You know what I mean. Come back later this week as we try to tackle the project list once again on Tuesday, and I'm inviting you personally to come join Erin and me Thursday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time for a live stream right here on YouTube, where we'll be answering questions from you and throwing in our 2 cents as well. Please subscribe and comment. Find us on Facebook for content you can't find anywhere else. And if you've already subscribed, thank you very much. And thank you for becoming a part of our ranch. Have a great week. And thanks for joining us in our Wyoming Life.